Meeting room will come to order. We're now holding the April 14th, 2025 meeting of the Cumberland County Fiscal Court. At this time, I'll ask our magistrate from District 2 to lead us in a word of prayer, please.
Let's pray. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you this day. Thank you for all this you've done for us this day and allowing us to come out here and represent the county, Lord. We ask, Lord, that you would just give us guidance as we go through this meeting here, Lord, and give us the knowledge and wisdom we need to make decisions that would benefit the people of Cumberland County and be found pleasing in your sight, Lord. Lord, we're just thankful for this great country we live in. We're thankful for the many freedoms that we enjoy, and we pray, Father, that you would just be with all the servicemen and women that help protect our country and keep these freedoms in place while putting their lives in danger many times. Lord, we just ask that you would just watch over them, take care of them. Lord, we ask that you would just give their family comfort in their absence. Father, we pray for those who are sick and pray that you would just touch them and heal them, Lord, if it be your will. Restore their health to them. Lord, we ask, Father, that you would just forgive us for our sins. We know that many times we have shortcomings and we sin, and Lord, we just ask that you would forgive us of those. Lord, we ask that you would go with us through this meeting and on through the further walks of life, and when you're done with us here, Father, that you would give us home in heaven. These things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. If you would, please join us in a pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Next, I'll call the roll. This will also serve as a mic check. Magistrate District 1. Here. Magistrate District 2. Here. Magistrate District 3. Here. Magistrate District 4. Here. County Attorney Coleman Hurt. Here. Thank you, gentlemen, very much for being here. We'll next move into the approval of the minutes. We have several sets of minutes here from special called meetings. The first set of minutes will be from March the 10th. That's our regular session meetings. Is there a motion to approve those? So moved. So moved by the Magistrate District 2. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by the Magistrate District 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Next set of minutes, March 21st, 2025. That was a special called set of minutes. Is there a motion to approve those? Motion. So moved by the Magistrate District 1. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by the Magistrate District 4. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Final set of minutes for consideration, April 1st, also special called 8:30 a.m. minutes. Is there a motion to approve those as presented? So moved by the Magistrate District 3. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by the Magistrate District 2. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Moving into departmental reports. Road Supervisor, Mr. Ricky Melton, if you would please come forward.
Good evening, everyone. We've had a lot of storms, had a lot of stuff pushed out, but we just had the good Lord watching over us on the bridge up the Homer Grider, drive forward, it's still there. We got something still working on. And by the middle or end of next week, depending on the water, how it goes down, you can start getting some material in. Just hoping to get started on it. We didn't want to order a bunch of material till these storms quit to see if we still had anything to rewire or not. So been holding up, but they've got all that stuff in stock, and it'll be can get pretty quick. So pretty good shape there. We started spraying today and working on the tractors, getting them ready to start doing mowing for the year. Get started, and so we're kicking off the year with a bang.
Any questions for the road supervisor? Thank you very much, Ricky.
Thank you.
EM Director, Mr. Greg Cary.
Ricky County touched on the storms on April the 5th. We went under a tornado warning, and we were very blessed. We come out of Monroe County and went outside of North 61. And the only damage to structures that was turned in that we know of was down on McCoy Road. They lost a barn, a tool shed, and it actually picked another shed up and was completely out of the ground. I took the pictures, sent them, and did my survey, sent them to the National Weather Service, and they looked at it. It was straight line winds, 80 to 85 mile an and we were blessed with what could have happened, so. And
Sure was.
the rest of the state, they wasn't so lucky in other places.
Agreed.
But and I also want to say, I would really like to extend a gracious thank you. Anytime that the National Weather Service is sending out emails and texts, one right after the other, they're fortunate enough now, the equipment they have, we know sometimes a week in advance when we're going to have bad weather. So I reach out to each church that is gracious enough to unlock their basement doors and leave them unlocked. And this time here, there was like almost a week worth of storms every day, back to back. So because I don't like to promote it if I've not talked to them, but they left their doors unlocked. Grace Union Baptist Church is one of them. The Chestnut Grove Community Church is one of them. Maribon United Methodist Church is the other. And then we always leave the courthouse doors unlocked too. But we really want them to.
And people do take advantage of that, right?
There's usually someone at every place. So, especially with the weather like it was this last April the 5th.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate what you and all the rest of the team did during that time, and know it was stressful. One day of it's bad enough, but when you tack on 3 or 4 more, it makes for a long week. So we appreciate that. Any questions for the EM Director? Thank you very much, Craig. ABC Officer Junior Smith is unable to be with us, so we'll ask our EM Director to stand in for him if he would.
It's the end of the fiscal year, so the month of February was the first year, so the first month of this fiscal year. So the alcohol sales, monthly sales, was $113,543.73. The regulatory fee was $5,610.45. So that's the year-to-date is also.
Any questions for Greg as it relates to ABC? And Junior was sorry that he couldn't be with us tonight. Greg, thank you for standing in. Mr. Jailer, Thomas J. Brown.
Thomas J. Bryan, Cumberland County Jail. In March, we had a total of 50 runs, 40 to Adair, 1 to Wayne, 1 to Clinton, 4 to Taylor, 1 to Grayson, 1 to Nelson, 1 to Crossville, Tennessee, and 1 to Lexington, for a total of 3,729 miles. As of the first day of the month, we had 29 in Adair. As of today, we have 32. In March, there was a total of 11 on home incarceration for 179 days, saving the county approximately $6,444 in jail pay. We're loaded, and they're going to the hospital, doctor's appointments. It's tough.
What do we attribute that to, Mr. Jailer? Anything in particular that you noticed?
We got so many up there, we've got doctor's appointments. All of them see it the same, it's tough.
Okay. Any questions for our Jailer? Thank you very much for what you're doing with that many, sir. Burkesville Mayor, Laurel Irby. Thank you, Mayor, for being with us. Sheriff Keaton Williams.
For the month of April, call-wise, we had 263 calls. We made 89 traffic stops, wrote 27 citations, had 19 arrests, 9 non-vehicle or non-injury vehicle accidents, and 1 accident that did result in injury. I also want to point out we're taking bids on 2 items. First one's a 2004 4Runner that was surplus several months ago. So we're taking bids on that, I think, for another week. We're also taking bids on the concrete plant that's down there. Now, that's not operational. What I was just thinking, and I ran it by the judge just a minute ago, is if we can come up with some kind of agreement for the county to take that down, and the funds be split between the court and the sheriff's office. I'm willing to do that if y'all want to try to work on something like that.
Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on that? You know where he's talking about at the impound lot? That old concrete plant. What are your thoughts on that?
That's something we can do, really.
We don't really have time to just be truthful. We got one coming up. We got the storm damage we're still working on, y'all got a place for staff, it's easy to. I mean, it's gonna take some torching, you want to cut that stuff up, you can't just top on every pieces that it would bring it down.
It would be a big project, it was just an idea I wanted to put out there.
Any thoughts, gentlemen? And you've still got another week on that, is that right?
Another week, yeah.
What about the vehicles over annex, man?
That's something I've been working on we've been working on trying to get rid of them for months now. It's just a matter of getting the orders from the Commonwealth to us, and some of those cars over there are still under court case. However, I know we need to work on a plan to get them moved back over to the impound yard, and I'm willing to do that as well.
Because we are looking at using that, you and I have had this conversation, we're looking at using that as a rock stockpile location. So in the event that we're dealing with some of this severe weather like what we've had over the last couple of weeks, it's difficult for us when we need a load or 5 of rock and it's a Saturday and the rock quarries are not open. It's really difficult when we need it and we don't have access to it. So that will be where we will stockpile that rock, to your point.
Also, in the impound lot, they would have a good secure fence around them. If they're still
They
something
definitely do.
in court, you know.
Yeah, they definitely do.
Those are obviously the newest cases.
Yeah.
Those are since I took over and went through. But yeah, if we can work out some kind of deal to get those cars moved back over, and so it's out of here also, it's fine.
I know a gentleman that owns a wrecker business. Would that be helpful to you at all?
I'm not gonna say anything.
Imagine your District 1, you've been voluntold, it sounds like, so.
I can help.
Well, we appreciate what you're doing, Sheriff, and we'll think over that option down there, and if they're interested, let you know. Thank you very much, sir. County Court Clerk, Mr. Bryan Morgan. PVA, Gina Shaye Watson. County Coroner, Gary White. County Attorney, Coleman Hurt.
No report, Judge.
Civics Club Judge Executive, Sadie Arterburn.
This month, we have traveled to Russell County to speak with the Board of Education members and the Cumberland, or the Russell County Fiscal Court over there. They were interested in our Civics Club and internship program, and they were very interested and impressed with what Cumberland County has built. So thank you to the board for that opportunity and always supporting us and making sure the youth has a voice. But they're making enough progress, and hopefully soon enough we'll see a Russell County Civics Club and an internship. We have worked on and finished the annual solid waste report. The PBKO came down last week and spoke with some club members about the Civics Club and the internship program. We were actually featured for more times than we were expected to, so we are very grateful for the positive media attention that we have gotten. And lastly, I wanted to recognize our special guest this evening, Representative Neighbors. Thank you for being here and being a major supporter for Cumberland County. Now, I'd also like to recognize our Cumberland County Civics Club Treasurer, Jordan McClone, for getting accepted into Harvard University. It's safe to say that you're one of the first or the first from Cumberland County to go to Harvard University. So we're very proud of him and we're very excited for his journey ahead.
Thank you very much, Judge. Any questions for the judge? Jordan, congratulations. We're lucky to have you here, lucky to have every member of the Civics Club, but that's a big deal. Thanks for making Cumberland County proud in all that you do.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, any questions or comments on that? If not, at this time, I would like to recognize a very special guest with us, Kentucky Representative Amy Neighbors. If you would, please come forward.
How's everybody doing?
Great.
Doing well. Yes, congratulations, Jordan. I'm sure you had a hard decision to make. 3 acceptance letters, so kudos to you for that. Just want to thank the judge for the invitation to be here this evening, to be here in Cumberland County to see what all you guys have going on. It sounds like y'all had a lot the last few weeks with all the storm damage, and so kudos to everyone in this room for stepping up and taking care of the folks of Cumberland County. I do appreciate it. I'm sure your residents do as well. As for myself, right now, I'm kind of in a lull. Session's been over for a couple weeks now, but the interim will gear up in June through the remainder of the year. If any of you are not aware, I have been named as Vice Chair of the Local Government Committee. So with that being said, as I'm speaking to the Fiscal Court, if there's anything throughout the interim that you guys feel like I need to be aware of, anything that I can help out with in that regard with my new position, please feel free to reach out to me at any time. And anything else, any other items that you all feel like needs my attention, please don't hesitate to reach out. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to work for you all. So unless you all have any questions for me, that's about it right now. I'm enjoying some time with my family. I'm actually going to hit the road early in the morning and go to North Carolina to see my daughter and son-in-law. Just yesterday celebrated a baby shower with my other daughter, so I got another little one on the way this summer, and I'm so excited about that. But just ready to take a little bit of time, a little bit of a breather. Session was session. But that's okay, that's why I'm here. But the interim was a lot of fun too, because we spend all those months discussing all the issues that need to be brought to the legislature's attention in preparation for the session, which will start next January, and it seems like the clock just flies. The days go by so quickly anymore, but maybe that's because I'm getting older, I don't know. So unless you all have any questions for me, I will let you all proceed with your meeting, and thanks again for letting me be here today.
Thank you for being here, and it will be a little later in the meeting, but I know on behalf of Cumberland County Fiscal Court, especially District 3, we appreciate the $12,000 that you worked so hard to secure, not just for District 3, but everybody that uses that in District 3. Also, I'm certain that District 4 would be happy to report that every single constituent in the 4th District was thrilled with the, $2 to $4 million that you helped secure there. So thank you very much for all that you're doing for each of these districts in Cumberland County in general. We appreciate you.
I'd like to say thank you for helping me on Homer Rider Road too. And we received about $72,000 for your answer.
Correct.
Thank you.
I know when you called me that day, you were desperate, and I can understand why. You have people you needed to take care of. So
They're proud to hear it. We're going to help.
Good deal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving on to business, letter A, tornado shelter update. Greg, if you would, and Director Greg Cary, if you would please come forward.
I've had several conversations with Robert with CNC since the last meeting. AAA came down, they're the ones that was fixing the doors to where they automatically open from dispatch. We've tried them, one of the doors worked, there's a malfunction with one of them. He says it's going to be warranted. I had conversation with him this afternoon. He first told me they would be back one day this week. He texted me after the meeting started and said his guy Randy will be back tomorrow to look to see it, but they think that the piece in the door that's messed up will be warranted. So we may be a ways out on that door getting that piece, but we won't know when Randy gets back. But they released it to be used. We can only use one door, but we can actually use it as a safer man. And the last conversation I had before we realized all the issues with hazard mitigation, they told us that we could use it then if it was functional. Well, when we went and investigated, it wasn't functional, so we didn't promote it. But we can honestly, we have a storm next week, and we can actually promote that that can be used.
Are we ready then, in your opinion, to do an official ribbon cutting with the Cumberland County team, any citizens that want to participate, and then the Marylebone Volunteer Fire Department?
By it being released, by him telling me that we could go ahead and use it as a shelter, I think we're good to go with that.
Okay.
We can, but when we promote it, we just have to promote it. There's only one door.
One door for right now.
Right now, but it's functional and a safe place to go.
Gentlemen, on that, I don't necessarily need a motion, a second, a prevailing vote, but would you all be interested and think it's appropriate to have a ribbon cutting for that and include as special guest Marylebone Volunteer Fire Department for all that they've done to make it possible?
Yes.
Okay, great. Then I'll get that set up and I'll let all of you know. Greg, I'm sorry to cut you off. Anything else that you have?
That's it.
Any questions on that for Greg? Thank you very much, sir. Status update on discussion about intra-local agreement regarding county prisoners. I know the sheriff, county attorney, and the jailer and I, those conversations are ongoing. Mr. County Attorney, anything specific that you'd like to add on that?
Nothing. I think we're probably pretty close to being able to put pen to paper. I think everybody's on the same page. We've got a plan that will work. It's just, make sure everybody's on the same page. But
appreciate that. And as always, Mr. Jailer and Sheriff, appreciate all that you all are doing to make this possible. Mr. County Attorney, you as well. Moving on to letter C under old business, reminder for the state tire amnesty days, May 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Gentlemen, if you would, look in your packets at that flyer that you were sent, Cumberland County Tire Amnesty Day, for the people who are on there later, that's what it'll look like. We will post that as long as you all don't see any edits that need to be made to that. We will post that on social media. That should be right behind the meeting minutes in front of all that. Yeah, that's it. That's your district court. Make sure that you don't see any problems with that. This was something that was put together by our Cumberland County interns. That was a huge help. And I do want to touch on this with what the judge said in her report there. The solid waste coordinator position that we have budgeted for here in Cumberland County, that's not just one report per year, so I don't want to oversimplify it. But Evan Stotts and Sadie Arterburn put that report together. You all worked on that for what? Roughly a week, a little less than a week? Little less than a week. Got that annual report done for us. That report was high quality when it was done. I do think that that's worth looking at moving forward. If there are duties like that our Cumberland County interns can do, having them fill those roles with a little more responsibility than even what they've had in the past. I think those that earn that opportunity deserve a chance to prove that they can. Any questions that you got on the flyer? If not, any edits that we need to make, let me know before you leave today so that I can get that issued then later on this week to let people know that that event is forthcoming. Letter D, under old business, reminder of the budget process. This is the third reminder of that, third and final reminder of that process. The Budget Committee will be meeting several times over the next few weeks to bring forth a budget at the May meeting. In May, that will be the first reading of 2 readings that will have to occur before that budget is effective. Any questions on that, gentlemen? And that, as a reminder to all the department heads, if you have things that need to be included in the budget, anybody like that, make sure that you get those to the Budget Committee or this office.
Is there any money
Yes.
up the money on what the masters spend a year?
On the allotment?
Yes.
That's a very good question. Short answer to that is, well, it will depend. You would be in support of that, I imagine.
Yes. Yes, right now I'm in the red.
Short answer is, it will depend. I will tell you what we're looking at, and I don't mind to share this. I think this would be something where we could get good feedback from the general public, not just the Budget Committee. The solid waste coordinator position. That was something that all of you approved last year to be put into the budget this current year that we're in. If, now that we have so much support from the Workforce Development Board and the folks over in Russell Springs, if we can take the financial assistance that they're giving us to have our Cumberland County interns and have more than what we've got as far as the interns are concerned, then we take just as an example, we take that roughly $30,000 that we had allocated for the solid waste coordinator position. We take $10,000 of that and give that back to Cumberland County, not like give it back and send everybody a check, but put that back in for their use in savings to pay down debt. So that would be $10,000 pays down debt. $10,000 would immediately then be split between all of you, $2,500 each, which is not a huge increase, but that is an increase in your allotment. And then $10,000 of that, so also a third of that, would go toward still the solid waste position, but allowing some of our folks who will be graduating from the Cumberland County internship program to come on board as a part-time employee, filling the duties of that role. So for $10,000, we get the $30-something thousand job that we wanted there essentially done, with few exceptions to that, but we get that done. You all each get a $2,500 increase in your allotment, which again is not a lot, but it's $2,500, and then we take $10,000 toward our debt, paying that off, which helps all of us as taxpayers. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I like the idea of that. I'm gonna bring up another little twist, and this may not sound good to some people, but you know, you got like State Highway 90 and State Highway 449.
Correct.
And if, you know, 90 is quite a bit more miles than 449.
Correct.
what if the state had the same amount of money to work on both roads? And that's what we're working with here. We've got districts that's got twice as many miles of roads getting the same amount of money to work with.
That is absolutely right. And that is specifically directed at District 2 and 3. You all are working all on the same amount of money, but you got a lot of roads. Magistrate District 1, what I just heard there was, if you could spot District 2 in the money, he would be in support of that.
At least loan me some money, though. I think
I'll let you all sort that then, but.
he got the credit for the 10,000 I put on home.
Hey, I can't help it if the paper
Newspaper printed it, Wayne Coleman give that money.
You're asking for a little of that credit, I don't blame you, okay. As far as the $2,500 is concerned, taking that original budgeted amount, is that something that you all would be open to, dividing that 3 ways, 1 way toward debt pay down, 1 way divide to the magistrates, and then 1 toward that part-time?
Anything's helpful, but I really need 10,000.
Okay, well, I don't have 10 right now that I could offer you. Gentlemen, anything else on that?
But make it clear that I was the one paid the 10,000 on the road.
Noted. We'll have that reflected in the minutes, Eugene. Moving on to Humphrey Hollow Road, that's in District 4. We have a bid packet that will be issued and will be advertising, sending over to Cumberland County News and WKYR. Anybody who wants to bid on that project, Magistrate District 4, would you like to speak to that project at all?
No, I mean, it just needs done, and I'm glad we're getting it done. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, and again, Representative Nagers for helping with that emergency money when we got that. She's been integral in that, as well as Homer Grider. So anybody that you all know of that would be interested in bidding on that, please encourage them to do so. And again, District 4, appreciate your work on that. Homer Grider Road, you heard the update from our road supervisor on that. I am encouraged that we can keep the rain away, that water will come down, and hopefully we can get that repaired as quick as possible. I know those people are desperate to travel that road and be able to get in and out again without having to walk across a swinging bridge. So.
They have been very nice.
Very, very, I agree. Anything else that you'd like to add on that one, Magistrate District 1?
Let's get it done.
Fair enough. Moving on to letter G. Gentlemen, at this time, this will take just a few moments, but it's worth the time and consideration here. Flip over to what the mayor has been gracious enough to provide us on the proposed draft of the interlocal agreement with 911. Just for reference, that's it. District 2, District 4, got it. District 3, District 4, flip to this one first. Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna see what the mayor has provided us with there. Those draft sheets, they are simply that, they are drafts. She has been kind enough to put it together for our consideration. She brought it up to the council reviewed it, agreed to send it to us here. So if you would, I know you've all had time to look at it already, but if you would, let's take a look at some of these key proposed changes. The first one here that we've got, what you'll see in section 4.1, that's establishing the board. That's a proposal of a change to the board and the board makeup. Currently, the county judge is on it, City of Burkesville mayor is on it, Cumberland County Hospital administrator's on it, EM director's on it, and then a citizen at large. The proposal here would be to change, adding Cumberland County Sheriff, adding the Burkesville Chief of Police, and then adding another position for, right now, Harvey Graves, mayor, is that correct? Yes. To fill that, so we're adding in that scenario 3 voting members. Harvey Graves is already a member of the 911 board, but doesn't have voting rights. So that would just be changing that, giving that position voting rights. Are we clear on that, gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay. Flip over to the next page there. Would also be important to mention that the mayor did include in there my recommendation for term limits. You cannot term limit the mayor or I or the sheriff or Burkesville City Police Chief as far as those are concerned, because those are positions that are elected or appointed then by the mayor in the case of Chief of Police. Hospital administrator would be the same way. Those citizen at large members is what I would propose we term limit. Not because I don't think that a member at large, a citizen member at large can do a good job, but because that gives you a scheduled change of perspective that I think benefits Cumberland County taxpayers. The only reason I don't recommend it for the other positions is because they are locked in or elected. Any questions on that? Okay, board members can be reappointed. They shall serve for 3 years. We would need to decide if we did want to term limit that, if that was going to be term limited for 3 or 4. Mayor, correct me if I'm wrong, city said
2 or 3.
2 or 3.
The city said they were good with either one, but I think they said 3.
With 3. Either one, but 3 is what they lean toward then at the meeting. Looking down on the rest of those, property of the Cumberland County 911 Center. Again, you all have had an opportunity to look over this. This is with the potential for a termination if we, for whatever reason, or the city decides that they want out of the agreement. What we're doing there is forfeiting any of the 911 equipment. That would go to the city if we withdraw from it. That would go to the county if the city withdraws from it. Does that make sense? Okay. Cost and operation. Additional funding would come from a direct contribution as previously agreed upon between the City of Burkesville and the Cumberland County Fiscal Court. The amount paid to the 911 service organization will be determined and agreed upon at the beginning of each fiscal year. The amount will be designated to cover the operational expenses of 911. You'll recall this is where we put in $75,000, the city puts in $85,000. The way that the existing agreement is written, Cumberland County Fiscal Court is responsible for the cost of, I do believe it says, 1 full-time dispatcher. I do think to be most fair, and the city is already putting in more than us, but to be most fair, we need to clear up that language and indicate it's $75,000. We're already doing that. That's not an increase of any kind. That's just putting pen to paper on what we're doing instead of what it says we should be doing. The surplus, if you look down 8.3, letter A, any surplus identified beyond the agreed upon cash limit will result in an equal decrease in the amount paid by both the city and the county governments. This is something the mayor didn't take, I don't think, appropriate credit for at the city council meeting. I'll give her plenty of credit for it now. I think this is a very, very smart move. If the 911 organization, the 911 board, receives more money than they need, and that would be determined, again, not right now and not necessarily when they start receiving a lot of money, but if they receive more money than they need to function, that would then come back as a reduction, a contribution reduction to the city and the county. For example, if they end up with 100,000 more, which Greg, wouldn't that be nice? If they end up with 100,000 more than what they've needed and what was identified in the budget that they would bring in, then that would reduce the county's contribution and the city's contribution. Does that make sense? It also keeps us from getting into a position where it's use it or lose it, where they bring in more money and, oh, well, we have to figure out how to spend it. Not that the 911 board would do it, but we've all seen governments at different levels do that. This prevents any even hint of that from happening. Are we clear on that? Mayor, is that a sufficient explanation? Okay. Moving on to the annual review. At the end of each fiscal year, a joint financial review will be conducted by representatives of the E911 board and the city and county government bodies. You all will recall we've already got a little bit of that where the 911 board has to come to the Cumberland County Fiscal Court, present annually their budget there, but this would change that where they are contributing, or excuse me, are reporting to both of those. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
That part of it is directly on kind of the budget and the decrease in the contribution to the staff.
On the financials.
Keeping the other part that what Greg does, but that can be specific to that, to see where it stands. What the
If we get the reduction.
Yes.
Okay, gentlemen, did you all hear that? Okay. Flipping over to the back and final page there. The grant support. If this was a very smart move in consideration here, there will be grants that 911 can apply for in the future. But there may be times where 911 doesn't have the money for that. There may be times when the county doesn't have the matching money for those grants. There may be a time when the city doesn't have matching money for that. Mayor, would you like to, you don't have to come up here unless you just want to, but would you like to speak to that specific part and the thought process on that.
Well, on that thought process, a lot of the 911 grants that we get, we will be reimbursed for. So we have to pay for whatever equipment, whatever it is that the grant is paying for, but 911 has to pay for that first. So going back to this, the need for that cash cap for 911 to not have to be so high is that the city and county, if they're both in agreement, it wouldn't be a vote. Judge Keaton helped kind of straighten that language out. But where if 911 has the opportunity at a grant, let's say it costs $75,000, the city and the county can contribute towards that interest-free loan that 911 would then reimburse when that grant comes in, because as Greg stated, it could almost be, up to a year before those funds are sometimes reimbursed, but they are. So that would just kind of be to fix the cash cap, because you don't know how much with the increase in how much everything costs. You don't know how much things will be in a year, and that would be hard to prepare for.
And on that point, what she's talking about with the voting, this will not be where if the county, or excuse me, if the city is going through tough financial times and the 911 board needs a grant and we think it's a good idea, we can't vote and say, yes, the city will give $50,000 and the county will give $50,000 towards the grant. We can't tell them what they have to spend it on. We can say that, yes, we're in support of the grant and we want to do it, but if the city is not in a position, or vice versa, if we're not in a position where we can do it, then that all has to come from the other party to up front. Does that make sense? It just gives us that opportunity to help the board in the event that they need it. Are we comfortable with that explanation? Make sense? Okay. Now, let's go.
I got a question.
Sure.
On the like fronting them, the city and county
Yes.
fronting some money that would be reimbursed.
Yes.
It says in here within a 6-month time frame. After that, it looks like it's saying that it could be reevaluated to consider a potential application of interest on that. Is that the way it? Because I heard them say it, sometimes it took almost a year.
Correct, it does, and that is correct. It does, I'm sorry, go ahead, Greg. Yeah, and that would be, based on this language, this gives us the authority after 6 months, if we or the city wishes to charge interest, we would have that opportunity. But 6 months is what they're guaranteed at no interest, and we don't have to charge it after that. Good question. Any other questions on that? Okay, if not, let's move over to the remainder of the interlocal agreement. What the mayor has done, she has taken the original interlocal agreement and marked that up for us. You have those edits there. You see where it says on page 4 of that agreement, marked through, there's a line there, Cumberland County 911 Center shall be located at Bucksville City Hall. Stuff like that has been changed because it's just flat out wrong. That's not current information. Excuse me. That's not current information anymore. If you look down at the bottom of page 4, that letter E, a citizen at large who is registered voter of Cumberland County and who is not directly affiliated with any emergency services, getting rid of that. That's something I think that the mayor and I agreed on. Shouldn't be penalized for board members having affiliation with emergency services. Looking over to the next page, on page 5. Again, we need to change the top of that where it says there shall be no limitation on the number of terms. If we put in term limits, we need to change that. If we don't put in term limits, we do not need to change that. See where it starts being marked out, in the event that the board begins to use, on and on till the end of that paragraph. All of that is null and void at this point. Going down to general functions of the board shall provide oversight in the planning and implementation of Cumberland County. All of these, and I'm not trying to be redundant to stuff that you all have already looked at, but I do want to make sure that you all are aware of these changes, that you're comfortable with them. Page 6, if you would flip over there, you'll see letter A toward the bottom of page 6, develop bylaws for conducting board meetings and fulfilling the duties. That's not important anymore, not because we don't need bylaws, but because we've already accepted and adopted those bylaws now, so it's not part of how we need to go forward and establish them. That part's been done. You look over page 8, property of 911 center. That's what was addressed over in the draft version. Look at page 10, gentlemen. A couple changes there. At the top of that, you'll see where telephone surcharge has been marked out. That's just a matter of we don't collect on the telephones anymore. Look down from there in that second paragraph. City shall contribute not $75,000, but rather $85,000. Fiscal court shall contribute not the sum of money equal to one dispatcher, but now $75,000. And then highlighted there, Cumberland County Hospital shall contribute a sum of $12,000. That's what we've discussed several times before. You've got the resolution that the city has passed. You've got the ordinance that we passed, changing the way that we collect on fees for those services. Seen all that before. If you look at the very back page of that, implementation of enhanced 911. Greg, would you like to speak to that as far as what we have now? Do we have enhanced 911?
Enhanced 911 enables you, if you call and don't say a word, we can locate you and send somebody to check you out.
And that has been helpful numerous times, right? Gentlemen, do you have any questions regarding any of those changes? Mayor, yes.
The only other thing is about the $12,000 from the hospital. Because the hospital is not a signatory on that contract, it would have to be done in a separate contract between the fiscal court, city, and then the hospital court for there. Because we can put anything we want in there, but it does not.
We can't mandate them to pay it. Does that make sense, gentlemen? What questions do you have based on the draft and those proposed changes?
Fine, mate.
On the term limits, where are you on the term limits?
3 years.
Three terms? 3 terms? Okay.
Need a motion.
Well, hang on, we'll go, we've got several of these changes. 3 terms. Okay, let's do it this way because this will catch several up here. Any of the just basic changes that are changing 911 dispatch is no longer at City Hall, we're now at the 911 center. Are you comfortable with all of those just correcting the incongruencies now?
Yes.
Okay, look like we're in support of that. Where are we on the composition of the board? Adding to the 911 board. We've got 3 additions there, 3 voting additions there. Cumberland County Sheriff, City Police Chief, and then a voting citizen at large. Sheriff, would you like to speak? I don't want to try to throw you on the spot, but would you like to speak? I know you're running at both ends right now. Is this something that you have an opinion on as far as your board service? Not right now. Okay. Gentlemen, thoughts on those additions to the board?
Since they're involved in many of the emergencies that happen, I think that's probably a good place for them to sit.
Cumberland County Sheriff, I will warn you that board seat does not come with any additional pay, so just do keep that in mind as you budget your time and you budget your finances. Thoughts on anything else on that makeup there, gentlemen?
We work some extra pay.
Can you? I think that might be on the agenda later today, Sheriff. Gentlemen, any other thoughts that you've got on the board makeup, specifically citizen at large? Are you both okay with, are you okay with both of the law enforcement officers coming onto the board?
I am.
Where are you on the additional citizen at large?
Well, it seems reasonable that if you're gonna have 2 on there, to have one from the county and one from the city, to me, since it's a joint. Between the 2.
And then the city council would put that person on there. Okay, are we comfortable with that? Okay. On the equipment, are you comfortable if either the city or the county chooses to get out of the agreement that all of the equipment goes to the other party?
Yes.
Okay. In the event, and this was not in here, well, it is in here, but I don't know that it was specifically mentioned. In the event that the Cumberland County 911 Board fails to have enough to make it that year. I think the language in there currently is that each entity, the city and the county, will put forth proportionally to their tax base or something like that. That's not exactly the verbiage. Will contribute proportionally to fund that. I would propose that we change that to keep from having to go through and change what the city gets in and how you calculate that, or what the county gets in, having to change that year to year, because that will be a little bit different. And we just say, dollar for dollar, if 911 is short, $1 bill, we put in 50 cents and the city puts in 50 cents. Are you all comfortable? Now that is not in this right now, so that would then go back to city council for reconsideration on that. If we agree with everything else but that, then that would go back for them to consider. Are you all comfortable with that?
Yes.
Yes, Magistrate District 4, are you? Okay, is there anything in the agreement then, other than adding that to send back for consideration to the city, that you're uncomfortable with or we want to change or amend?
I'm good with it.
And Sheriff, are you willing to accept that board appointment? Yes. Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve those changes per the discussion there, and that the mayor please take back to the council if they're short $1, we contribute 50 cents, they contribute 50 cents.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
When you
Yes.
say short,
Yes.
are we talking about from the cash reserve and also with the budget?
No, I'm talking if Cumberland County 911,
One of insolvency almost.
not almost, if that's where they are. If Cumberland County 911 has an expense where it wasn't budgeted for or where they didn't generate enough revenue for it, they need to dip into their reserves for that. But if they have dipped into their reserves and they end up with $2 in the bank and they get a $3 expense, then we put in 50 cents, you put in, or the city would put in 50 cents. Only when they are flat broke is what I'm saying, to the point of if it's shut the doors or accept contributions, it's 50 cents from us, 50 cents from the city. Did that help, Mayor?
Yes.
Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept those changes and send the one back. Motion by Magistrate District 1, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Magistrate District 4. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Continuation of the Cumberland County Splash Pad discussion. We've got follow-up on that. The company was gracious enough to give us until this meeting and just a little bit after to decide how we wanted to proceed there. On that bid, you all have seen that bid now 2, if not 3 times, and several times in between. The tariffs, thank goodness, it looks like they've got a 90-day pause, minimum 90-day pause on that with a lot of countries. I think China is the exception to that, but we're not getting the parts out of China, the suppliers out of Canada. So with that in mind, I'll open it up for discussion from members of the court. Where are you on that topic?
I'm the same place I was. I think that we need to push this down the road a little bit and try to get that in operation next spring, you know, by late spring when they can start using it, so it don't sit there all winterize and nobody can use this thing.
And to be clear on this, not saying we don't move forward, but saying we rebid like the discussion was previously in the fall of the year, October, November, somewhere around in there. And Magistrate District 1, I think you've had somebody contact you also interested in bidding. So opening those bids up, again, maybe in December, rebidding it actually in October or November, and then construction starting right after we open bids in November for what they can, but we have to understand, wintertime, things get mushy. So that may very well slow things down. But then hopefully having that in there and writing in the bid packet that they would have until, what, the 15th of May to get that done, or else there's penalties for every day over. Is that what you all are saying?
Let's try to discuss it in October if we can.
Try to discuss it in October or rebid it in October?
I think we could rebid it as early as October.
Okay.
And basically, you know, we all heard them say that the actual, construction of putting it in is about a 6 weeks
That's
process. The other things are just prior things that they have to do. So that would give them, time to do a lot of those necessities, permits and all the things that they have to do, to get ready to do the actual construction. And then they should have plenty of time from March to May's plenty of time for them to put it in.
I think May the 1st, they would be having it tested, you know, to see if we're getting close.
May the 15th is probably pretty good because it's gonna, you know, your weather, I don't know how many people would be out there May the 1st.
I ain't saying open it, I'm saying get it ready.
Have it done.
We'll be open to know it's ready.
So do you want it May 1st or do you want it May 15th?
I think May 1st would be better.
It would be better, but that's narrowing that window down when.
If the weather's bad, we gotta give them time for that. I mean, that's,
Well, the way that you would give them time for that is to say May 15th. Because if it says May 1st and there's a penalty of $200, $500, whatever it is, per day over that, that's a per day over that. So where are we, May 1st or May 15th?
I'm for 15th.
Does anybody else have an opinion on this? We've got May 1st and May 15th.
as long as it's open.
As long as it's open.
As long as it's open, 15th be.
District 3 and District 4.
Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about restrooms? What are you gonna do about that?
The restrooms are not part of this initial one. The restrooms are part of what we're looking at for phase 2 for the pavilion. Phase 3 then being that pickleball court or some type of otherwise recreational site. So if you've got phase 1 at the splash pad itself, then the pavilion, surely to goodness, since it's not got any plumbing, should go much quicker and cost much less. The bathrooms will be the biggest cost there. I don't know that there's a problem with actually building onto where the splash pad is and connecting, tying in with a lot of that plumbing work there. I think that would be smart, but I don't think you have to have that or bust as far as a restroom. I think it'd be handy, but.
I was just thinking, like, people take their kids or whatever, they're not gonna run back and forth 4 or 5 times. You know what I mean? If they have to go to the bathroom, they're gonna drag them in their car wet, run them to the bathroom and go back.
I don't disagree with that, and I do think likely for your first year, you would have to have that problem. Unless, and I don't think that's what you were saying, but as far as.
No, I was just asking.
You don't wanna use like your allotment money to build that.
Oh, Rhonda would.
Okay, just checking, we'll reconnect on that too, give me credit for it. Fair enough. I do think though, looking at a financial decision where we are not having to spend that insurance premium tax money on that is wise. You all have I'm sure had questions about that. This is interest money from where you all have authorized me to renegotiate those accounts, the extra flood control money that we got in there. So please, anybody that's coming to you and saying, I can't believe they're using that money on what they were supposed to be using for debt pay down, that money is going toward debt pay down. This is from other prudent financial decisions that we're able to now have the opportunity to get something for the youth of Cumberland County. And I would like to point out again, this was their #1 priority that they set back in January of 2024. So, with all of that being said, it does sound like, and I'm encouraged by it, that there's still a commitment of this court to move forward with the splash pad, but we believe that it is in the best interest of Cumberland County taxpayers to rebid that, still with a commitment to moving forward, but rebidding that in October or November. Then moving forward with the bid appropriately, bless you, then moving forward with the bid appropriately. Can I get you all in the same motion to give me the authority and the flexibility then in the interim so that we can benefit doubly from those funds for debt paydown? Are you comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion to that effect?
Motion.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 1, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 3, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen, and thank all of the members of the Civics Club for making this possible and getting it to this point. Moving on to letter I, report on dumpster days. That was, I think, incredibly helpful and tremendously successful. Appreciate what the road crew did there. Remember, they're working 4 10-hour days now, so they did come in. They didn't come in for free. They got their comp time, but they did come in on their otherwise day off to make sure that all the people of Cumberland County could have a place to get rid of all of their junk that they needed, old TVs and old recliners that didn't have to be thrown over a hill. Any questions on any of that, gentlemen? Moving on to letter J, something that you've also seen before, EUDS invoices. You will notice, gentlemen, an email. I have included that in your packet. That email is with a letter. The letter is dated March 27th. I specifically want to bring your attention to the last line of that letter from the Chief Financial Officer. He was kind enough to put this in letter format and convey to us that they will compile the information that we requested. So if you'll remember, on all of those invoices, $99,000-ish of invoices, they had listed out what each of those were for, hourly rate of X number of dollars per hour for the different services that they provided. They are responding to our request to show us what each of those lines on the invoices are for in providing that work product. You will also notice that in the separate email that they are not going to send us any other invoices. If you'll recall, that's what you had instructed me to go back with, asking for the work product and then asking if there would be any other bills that we are to expect. They have said no more bills. They're working on the work product. As of last week, this would have been maybe last Thursday. This was last Thursday, April the 10th. The representative, the Chief Financial Officer, communicated with me via email. They did give us, since they have yet to get all of the information together also to send to us for review, they agreed to an additional 30 days. You'll notice in what's been provided to you, the invoice date on there is the same for February the 10th. If you look below that under terms, it'll say net 90 instead of the net 60, giving us an additional 30 days of consideration. The email, final email that I bring to your attention was from last Thursday at 9:55 a.m. where the CFO said, we will plan to target next Friday, April the 18th, to have all the documents uploaded to the shared drive, which should give us time then between April the 18th and that 90-day cutoff mark to review any of those invoices. So at this time, gentlemen, if you're okay with waiting until we get the rest of that information from EUDS, I just need a motion to, as you've done in the past, table this until we get that and review it.
So moved.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 2, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 1, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Letter K, budget amendment, this is the second and final reading. I need a motion, a second, and a prevailing vote on that if you wish to amend those funds in.
So moved.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 3, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 2, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Moving now into new business, this is where these should go pretty fast. A lot of these are pretty typical. Budget transfers as presented to you. Need a motion, a second, and prevailing vote if you wish to transfer those funds.
So moved.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 3, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 1, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Cash transfers, the amount of $45,000 from the general fund to the jail fund. You heard the report there and why that's necessary. Cash transfer from the ARPA fund to the general fund in the amount of $51,696.49. Again, I want to remind everybody that that's where a portion of those splash pad construction funds are coming from. That's ARPA, not any of the revenue that we brought in from the insurance. Is there a motion to approve the cash transfers?
So moved.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 3. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Magistrate of District 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Looking at letter C, action to close the ARPA account. We are removing the money from the ARPA account. We will still have some interest that will be residual there, but I'm asking for a motion a second and a prevailing vote from the court to, when appropriate, be able to close out that account. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Occupational tax refunds. This is in excess of $750 annually that Cumberland County taxpayers pay in on their occupational tax. We have occupational tax refunds in the amount of $181.35. Is there a motion to refund those?
Motion.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 2, seconded by the Magistrate of District 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Letter E is the warrants, that's the bills. Gentlemen, is there a motion to pay the bills for this month?
Motion.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 3, seconded by the Magistrate of District 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Gentlemen, you have now a new budget amendment number 6. This is the first reading on this. We will have to advertise this like we advertised the budget amendment number 5. Is there a motion to approve the first reading of this?
So moved.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 3. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Strategic planning meeting, open invitation to the fiscal court. At this time, I'll recognize a representative from the IDA, if he would like to come forward and talk about that opportunity.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Nethery. I'm a representative from the IDA board, and also speaking on behalf of the Explore Cumberland County Alliance, which, as you know, is part of the Chamber of Commerce, along with the IDA Tourism Commission. And we're working together to put together a community forum to talk about the future of Cumberland County and Burkesville. And we have a group that did a study back in the fall. Many of you know them as the UK Community and Economic Development Initiative. Have a long mouthful there, but they've luckily changed their name to Blueprint Kentucky, much better. They're a group of experts with the university that did a deep dive into our data. They got some data from other sources and looked into our area. And they looked at everything from our economy, jobs, demographics, infrastructure, how we currently attract business, to give a clear picture of where we are. And at this forum, it's not going to be just a lecture. We're talking about the results of this study, but we want it to be an interactive forum. So we're going to have technology available, like taking polls from iPhones and things like that to foster brainstorming and have group discussions. Our goal is to get everybody in the community leaders, business owners, hopefully the Civics Club will be involved, and to talk about what we can do to improve our economy and support our local businesses. So this is your chance to have a say in what happens, and we encourage all of you to attend. We'd like the mayor to attend, and representative neighbors here. We'll send a letter to you also to invite you and to support this initiative. So right now, we would like to put on the calendar, save the date, May 20th at 4 p.m. at the Burkesville Community Center at the park. Kind of the same time slot that you had the state of the county. That seemed to work pretty good.
Great, yeah.
And after this, we'll be sending all the groups involved with a formal letter detailing what will be on the agenda and so forth.
Great. Appreciate you all coordinating this. I think this is wonderful. You can't get where you plan to go if you don't have a plan to get there. So I would hope that all of you all would make it a point to be there. What we can do, members of the media, be advised, if we do look like we're going to have a quorum, and I hope that we do, and it looks like we're going to be engaged in the conversation, I will, out of abundance of caution, call a special call meeting so that we can all be there and participate in the discussion freely if we need to. And then, of course, I'll be sending that over your all's way if we do. Thank you very much, Mr. Nethery, doing an excellent job fulfilling your duties as the newly appointed member of IDA. This time I'll ask Ms. Debbie Messenger to come forward. Letter H, Cumberland County Extension District Budget Presentation. Gentlemen, you have that in your packets. Debbie, is there anything that you'd like to cover with us on that budget?
There's not. I'm just here on behalf of the Extension District Board to present the fiscal year 2026 budget. Also want to say thank you to you all. We appreciate all the support that you give the Cooperative Extension Service.
Any questions for Debbie regarding their budget? Are there any major changes in the budget, Debbie?
There is not.
Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to include this budget in our official record, and then we'll send Debbie and the Extension District Board proof in our minutes that we did so at this meeting. So moved by the Magistrate District 1, is there a second? Seconded by the Magistrate District 3, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
Letter I, the Cumberland County Court Clerk is not able to be with us, but he has submitted to us this estimate for Harp election services. You'll notice on there that says estimate, not invoice. They have been really good to work with. They being Harp have been really good to work with. This is something they've agreed that if we will just vote today indicating that we will pay this in the next fiscal year, that we have a commitment to paying it and entering into that contract with them in the next fiscal year, that they don't mind to move forward with us and be able to service the equipment. They just need to know that we're okay with the number, and then they can bill us in the next fiscal year when they do it. Are we comfortable with that? Yeah. Okay, if so, I need a motion, a second, and prevailing vote there.
So moved.
So moved by the Magistrate District 3, is there a second? Seconded by the Magistrate District 2, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Gentlemen, if you'll look at the next item in your packet, it's a resolution, Fiscal Court of Cumberland County, resolution adopting and approving the execution of a county road aid co-op program contract between the Fiscal Court and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Rural and Municipal Aid, for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, as provided in the Kentucky Revised Statutes, and accepting all roads and streets referred to therein as being part of the county road system. Be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby accept all roads and streets referred to in this said contract as being part of the county road system. And the Fiscal Court does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said contract, and does hereby accept said contract, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions therein stated. And the Cumberland County Judge Executive of this county is hereby authorized and directed to sign the contract as set forth on behalf of the Fiscal Court of Cumberland County. County Court Clerk of Cumberland County is hereby authorized to certify thereto. That means that we're agreeing to accept money from the state that they want to give us, that we want to receive, and that we agree to spend it in a lawful way. Are you comfortable with that? If so, I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
Motion.
So moved by the Magistrate District 3, seconded by the Magistrate District 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. This time now, I want you to look at the county road agreement. The resolution does have as part of it that you instruct me to sign, but for good measure, I'll entertain a motion from this court agreeing to let me enter into the agreement with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet for the amount starting July 1st of $1,093,918.07. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 3. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Letter M, Sheriff, if you would please come forward for this part. Cumberland County Sheriff request reclassification, submission to us, and proposed budget appropriations. Sheriff, you have the floor.
Yes, the first thing I'd like to discuss is the new job description we're going to have in the sheriff's office, which will be senior deputy. Long story short on this, in my absence, I need someone to be able to direct, to supervise the other deputies that are working if they have call or questions and they need help with something. So in my absence, I'm needing this this job description. The other I submitted is the deputy salaries, what they're at now, what I'm trying to get them at. If you have any questions about that, feel free to call me or ask me here.
And Sheriff, I appreciate that you put those together. I think it was 3 or 4 months ago. The court tasked you with getting some numbers together. You have done that. Gentlemen, those are provided in your packets. Appreciate you doing that. Not only getting them together, but getting them together not a day or two before the budget, but while we've still got several months to plan. Appreciate you doing that. And specifically on the job description, the pay floor there, will that be reflected in the administrative code that you all would adhere to?
Yes, well, the pay will be, I know it's not in this and what you all have there, but it would be in the admin code whenever I finally get to start working on that.
And so that we can, even though it's not in here, which is fine, we'll just make sure it's in our meeting minutes, the floor for that position would be what?
A dollar increase.
A dollar increase for whatever deputy gets promoted into it, it's $1 from where they were, is that correct?
That's correct.
So, Madam Fiscal Court Clerk, if you would, please make sure that that's reflected in our minutes since it's not in the description. Gentlemen, we do not need to take any action. You're welcome if you have questions for the sheriff on any of this, you may ask it, but you do not need to take action on the pay raises and the budget discussion there yet. That's coming up at our next meeting where those can be included. The job description, since this is a new job description though, and since the sheriff's office, they don't operate on their own, they get money from us as far as that part's concerned, we do need to approve the job description and recognize this new classification and also pay that would be effective July 1. Any questions for the sheriff on the reclassification first? If not, is there a motion to approve that job spec?
Motion.
So moved by the magistrate of District 1. Is there a second? Seconded by the magistrate of District 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Sheriff, again, we've got the numbers. If any member of the court has questions, I'm sure you're okay with them contacting you on
I've
that.
got one other thing.
Sure.
We run low towards the latter months in the year, funding. Just to give an example, in 2023, the commission that the sheriff's office got was just over $163,000. In the 2024 tax year, it did go up. It went up to just over $187,000. So we're getting an increase of $24,000. However, I'll show you how that kind of plays out. In 2024, our lowest month was October. In our fee account, we got down to just over $3,800. And in 2025, this year, the prediction in October, which will be our lowest month again, was right at $5,400. So it's really not that big of a help. So I just wanted to show, you know, that this how much we are needing help with this.
Any questions for the sheriff, gentlemen? Sheriff, thank you very much, and for those following.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving on to, gentlemen, I have skipped over, and my apologies for this. District 3 funding news. Next time, elbow me in my side when I skip over that District 3. That Bethel Scott Road there, what Amy Neighbors, Representative Amy Neighbors was so supportive of and able to get for us, for good measure, we do need a motion, a second and prevailing vote, if you wish to accept that money and then use it for that purpose. So, Magistrate District 3, I'll give you the opportunity. Would you like to make that motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Magistrate District 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you, and sorry for that oversight. Looking at letter N, Judge Executive nominations for court approval. Gentlemen, we've got several here, but these will go quickly. Tourism Commission for a full term. Jamie Jenkins is my nomination there. She runs the Holler, which is a boat storage and also vacation rental location out on South 61. Jay Cary has been a long-time chair and longer-time board member of the Tourism Commission. You all know that as part of this administration's efforts to get new people in and new perspectives in, we are not allowing people to serve on multiple boards, commissions, or committees. That's not because we don't think they're doing a good job, but to try to expand our reach as far as the amount of input that we're getting on these. I spoke with Jamie Jenkins. She agreed that she would fulfill those duties of the role if you all saw fit to confirm her. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion from this court to approve her for a full term on the Tourism Commission.
So moved.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Looking at the Water District, Jay Cary is currently on the Water District Board. He was also on the Tourism District Board. I asked him if he would be interested in serving on either of those. He did choose the Water District Board. They are, as you well know, trying to fix some of the issues that are ongoing there. I think we owe it to them to let them fix what they are in the process of fixing down there. With that, I'm hereby nominating Jay Cary for a full term on the Water District Board, and hopefully tonight I'll be down there to swear him in. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
So moved by the Magistrator of District 3, seconded by the Magistrator of District 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Final nominations that I have for this evening. This is a new committee, gentlemen. The Opioid Abatement Advisory Committee. This is a group that will advise the court on our opioid funds that we're getting from the state. We have over $100,000 of those funds right now that came from several different lawsuits. More money will be coming in. Before anybody that's here today or anybody online watching this later has the idea, no, we cannot use opioid abatement money on blacktop. No, we cannot use opioid abatement money on the splash pad, even though that might discourage some people from doing drugs if they're out in the splash pad. That's still too far of a reach. No, we cannot use it for equipment. No, we cannot use it for salaries of just general staff. That is very specifically allocated for opioid abatement, prevention, education. That must be used for that. This group, if nominated tonight, will then meet and they will decide among themselves on 2 more recommendations for the board if they see fit. And then I'll bring those back and then you'll have a full board of 5 people there. Tonight, I'm nominating Michelle Cash, Hunter Tweedy, and Jeff Thompson as the 3 members of that board that will kick that off. I would recommend that Michelle Cash, from her Board of Ed experience, serve as chair, Jeff Thompson then as vice chair. Is there a motion from the court to approve those 3 individuals? So moved by the Magistrate of District 2. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Magistrate of District 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Moving on to letter O, Geo Science Consultants. A couple of you that have been on the court for a while may remember this. This is a letter that we received from an attorney on behalf of Sulphur Creek. They need to do some work on the right-of-way. They've done this once before. Ricky had indicated that they didn't leave a mess. They did fix it back as best they could after they had to do what they did on it. They just need us to take action on it by signing this letter. I need your all's permission to sign, giving them permission to work on the right-of-way. Is there a motion from the court on that? So moved by the Magistrate of District 1, second by the District 3. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Letter P, 2 quick things on letter P here. County staff and personnel had conversations about the janitorial position over at the Judicial Center. We have been requested as a court to wait 1 more month on that before we make a decision, so please expect that within the next meeting, if not sooner. James Cook has been wonderful when it comes to being patient and also trying to cover both of those job duties and descriptions. Everybody over there has also been very understanding. But he had specifically asked that we hold off on that. He's having conversations, I think, with the team over there. We will revisit that at the latest at the next court meeting. The other item, Mr. County Attorney, if you would please reference the specific KRS for entering into executive session on a personnel matter.
Personnel matter, it's KRS 61810F.
Again, for the record, if you would please make sure that that is noted. To everyone here, before I accept a motion, second, and then I expect the prevailing vote to go into executive session. I don't know how long executive session will take. I won't guess on that for you. If you need to leave while we're in executive session, I totally understand, as do all members of the court. We appreciate you being here with us this evening. If you do wish to stay, you're also welcome to do that. I will be muting leave that phone on for backup, but I will be muting the recording here, so don't worry if you're telling jokes in the background, that's not going to pick it up on this. But I do not want anybody to feel obligated to stay. I also don't want anybody to feel obligated to leave. This time, members of the court, I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive session.
So moved.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 3. Is there a second? Seconded by Magistrate of District 2. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. In executive session. Yeah, no phones. Leave your phones out here, gentlemen. Leave your phones out here. All phones out here.
Yeah.
This time, at this time, I'll entertain a motion from the court to enter back into regular session.
Motion.
So moved by the Magistrate of District 3, seconded by the Magistrate of District 1. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Madam Clerk of the Fiscal Court, if you would, please make a note that no action was taken in executive session, only discussion. At this time, there's nothing to report out. There's no prescribed action from the court from executive session. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I had something Judge Nick brought up.
Yes, Magistrate District 1.
Eaton Sprouse Road, I had somebody call me on it, and it's just part of it's on the county, and they're wanting to add it on, and there's cemetery back there. I've checked with both funeral homes, and they have no idea what the name of the cemetery is, so I don't know how to follow this.
Mr. County Attorney, I know we previously discussed cemetery roads. Cemetery roads are a little different. What we will do, you all have heard me say this, I suppose, for 3 months now. I think Ricky Melton got you all a list of cemeteries in your district. If you will, and it has to be 2 readings, but if you will, get me your list. I do need a list from each one of you, but get me a list of the roads, the cemetery roads that you want put on, and their specific length. Now, don't guess at it. Their specific lengths. And again, if we need a refresher on how to use that KYTC map online, I can do that. And then we can try to add those on. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. County Attorney, though. That's not as easy as we see a road, we want to put it on, we have 2 readings of it, and it's a county road. You have to have every property owner there sign saying they want it on, and we also need deeded access to that way we own the road. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's true. The main distinction or another process for the cemetery roads is that they are exempted from the specs of that we have.
So we can have them as gravel roads.
It doesn't have to be blacktop and all that, the accoutrements there, but yeah, it still has to be dedicated.
But we need the cemetery board or that cemetery committee to turn that property over, and then we also have to have a petition, correct, by the signed parties. So, get me the list. If you want those done, get me the list of that, please, sooner rather than later. Memorial Day is coming up. But please stress to them, it's not that we don't want to help Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. Is that money that we just agreed to follow those regulations on earlier today says we're not going to work on something that's not a county road. Understanding it may have been done in the past, and you've all heard it. Well, the county put this road in, why won't they work on it now? We're speaking for the time that we're in here, not the time before. So, anything else?
Got a question about the petitions.
Yes.
Are we gonna be able to pick up some petitions here, or Coleman's office, or where we need to get these petitions for a particular road?
As soon as any of you that tell me that you think you've got the necessary signatures, we can type that in, add the road name. I need the linear footage of that road, the name of the road, if it's a continuation of it, or the proposed name of the road, if it's a whole new road starting from a county road. And if you'll get that to us, we'll get that drafted. The county attorney's office will then take a look at it, make sure that it looks like a legitimate petition from his part. From an efficiency standpoint, we'll take care of it on our end. We won't have to...
If it's already on the county, what would it?
Scrape it, or salt it, or cut it, or, I mean, we take care of it if it's on the county, yeah. But if it's not on the county, if it's an extension or a brand new road, we cannot do anything to it. Good question. Anything further?
I got one, up at Marybone, the water tank.
Yes.
So the water department said they would furnish the rock, they'll pay for the rock, we just haul it and use the grader, they can't get up to the water tank. If we could work on that road going to the.
Will you say that one more time?
They're gonna pay for the rock.
The volunteer fire department?
No, the water district, they need to get to the water tank, yeah. We just need to use the grader and haul the rock.
To get to their water tank?
Yes.
Okay. Cumberland County Water District is not under our direct supervision. Cumberland County Water District does service Cumberland County taxpayers, as do we. Mr. County Attorney, do you see anything wrong?
I don't see an issue.
That's a public benefit.
I don't see an issue. I don't think there'd be an issue with that. You said they're gonna pay for the rock.
And we need our dump trucks and grader?
Yes.
We just need to haul one load of rock and.
I don't see,
Legal issue.
I don't see an issue with that.
Are you making a motion that we do that, subject to when their schedules will allow?
Right.
Okay, that's a motion from District 4, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the manager of District 1, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Now is there a motion to adjourn?
Can I bring up something? Quickly.
Go ahead.
We have the Logan Branch Road in there. I have not heard back from that guy on the, he's kind of blaming it on Dual County. And I don't know who, but that, I don't know if you guys or Coleman, how y'all want to handle that. Somebody talk to, Dual County, I guess, and go after, back to cable side.
Have you told everybody about it?
No.
Okay, back up, give them 60 seconds.
Down on Logan's Branch Road, right at the bridge down there, we had some gaming baskets along the shoulder of the roadway to uniform the creek into the bridge. And they went down there to plow the telephone cable in, and they got the machine off too close to the side of up on the bank, on the rocks, on the gaming basket, and it crewed the gaming basket over. And so they tried to repair it, and they only made matters worse, I guess, the way I understand it from the guy that I talked to with Cable South. And Dual County was there, the engineer, and wanted them to do different, do something else to it. So the more they did, they wound up tearing the baskets. And so there's about probably 60 feet maybe of the baskets now. That's the top layer's gone, it's too high. And so the top layer's crewed over into the creek. And if that's not repaired, that water's gonna jump right there and try to cut behind the bridge instead of going down and through the bridge. And we got gaming baskets on the right-hand side. This was on the left-hand side. And then we've got gaming baskets on the other side, which is not damaged. I'm just saying, there was a lot of gaming baskets put in there for a reason to funnel that water in there. We've never had any trouble out of that. But we didn't have any trouble this last storm, but if that keeps going and that keeps watering down in there, we will have trouble. So they're gonna have to probably dig your phone cable back out and repair that. Because my suggestion is put a whole new layer of baskets on top of that.
Have you contacted them already?
I talked to the guy from Cable South. The worker on the side of the road just gave me that guy's name, and I called him, and he said he wasn't really a project manager up here, but he kind of was running the job. Anyway, he was down there that day, and he could fill me in on what happened that day, that they were working. But we had the issue with the asphalt out there that they tore up, and we had quite a bit of trouble trying to get that fixed because they wanted to go through their insurance company, which I can understand that. But we had a pretty good hassle with getting that fixed.
But thanks to your all's hard work and efforts, that didn't cost the taxpayers anything, that went through.
That's how we handle it.
Same
I'm
way?
not the same way.
I just, we just need to stay on top of this and not let them get away before.
Permission granted, you have permission to stay on top of it.
Well, I mean, probably just go higher up because, I talked to them to know.
Okay, okay, Larry will have a conversation with them, depending on, just so that we're prudent and efficient in this process, and we don't have to call a special call for this. If things don't go well in Larry's conversation or any continued conversations with Ricky, is it the will of the court that this court would instruct the county attorney then to draft a letter to him saying, you damaged it, fix it?
Pretty simple.
Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
So moved by the Magistrate District 2, is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Magistrate District 4, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you very much.
I can understand, we don't get into Dual County, because they're good to us.
They have been very good to us.
We cut a phone line, they don't charge us for it, but I'd like to see them make,
Yeah,
cable
they have been really good, and I'm going to specifically mention ANC. You all know that's a local company. They have been incredibly good to work with. I don't want this to come back and look like that we're throwing off on them, but I do want an open dialogue on that stuff. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
So moved by Magistrate from District 1, is there a second? Second by Magistrate District 2. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen.